look at a Google Slides presentation about evaluating internet resources. So why are we doing this? Why do we need to know how to evaluate internet resources? Well, the internet is full of information, and just about anybody with a little bit of know-how can put the information out there. Some of this information is good and some of it is not. So we need to know which is which and how do we figure that out. So as you are figuring that out, this is a skill that you'll want to pass on to your students because they are going to be using the internet a lot to figure out information for research or information for maybe a project they're doing. So we want them to know how to find good information. So one of the first questions you're going to consider is the author. Who wrote this information? Who added this resource? Can you see the name of the author? Is it even on the page? And if so, are their credentials listed? Do you see what their occupation is, their years of experience, position, education? Is this author qualified to write on this topic? I mean, do they have experience? Do they have knowledge? Are they an expert? Or are they just somebody who read one too many Facebook memes and now they have an opinion about something? So you want to make sure that if they're talking about something that they know what they're talking about. Is there some contact information like an email address or something, or an address? Is there a link to a home page? And if there is it for an individual or for an organization? If the author is with an organization, does it appear to support or sponsor the page? Because that could mean that the author is writing about what they're writing about in the way that they're writing about it to help that sponsor. And what's the domain name and the URL? They can reveal a lot of information. If it's a .org or .edu, then a lot of times, that those are educational and those are nonprofit pages. If it's a .com or a .net, then it might be for a business. And if the owner is not identified, what can you tell about the origin of the site? Where did it come from? So why is this page or resource even on the internet? What is the purpose of it? Who is the intended audience? Is it a scholarly audience or experts, or maybe just the general public or novices? If it's not stated, then what do you think the purpose of the site is? Is the purpose to inform or teach, explain or enlighten, or to persuade or to sell a product? Because those are four very different things. Objectivity is something else you want to look at. Is there bias? Is the information covered fact, opinion, or propaganda? And is the author's point of view objective and impartial, or are they clearly favoring one side? Is the language free of emotion-rousing words and bias? And is the author affiliated with an organization? Because like we said before, that could mean that whatever they're writing about is for the benefit of that organization. Like we just said right there, that could bias them. And does the content of the page have the official approval of the institution, organization, or the company that they are perhaps writing for? Finally, accuracy. Now this is really important. So you have all this information, and sometimes it looks great and you can't wait to use it, but you need to make sure that the information is correct. So are the sources for the factual information clearly listed? So you can verify this. So if this person is citing facts, if they're citing statistics, if they're saying different things about a particular topic, are they citing their sources? Is it clear who has the ultimate responsibility for the accuracy of the content of the material on the site? And can you verify any of the information in independent sources or from your own knowledge? For example, if you're reading something and you just think that does not sound right, go to another source and see if you can collaborate, because if you can't, then you'll know this is not a good source. Has the information been refereed or reviewed? And is the information free of grammatical, spelling, or typographical errors? If you are on a website and there are tons of grammar, spelling, typos, I really wouldn't trust what's being written there because it obviously hasn't been reviewed. And reliability, you're going to be looking at also reliability and credibility. And why should you believe this source? Why should anyone believe any information from this site? What about it makes you think you should believe anything that they're telling you? Does the information appear to be valid and well researched? Is it supported by evidence? Are quotes and other strong assertions backed by sources that you can check? And we talked about, though, who's backing this up? And have you heard of it if you do see who's backing it up? And maybe is there somewhere else you could go, like maybe a professional journal or an academic journal, to back up or verify the information that you're reading? And also currency and links. Sometimes, and this has happened to me, you get to a paper or an article and it has some great information, then you realize it's 20 years old. Especially in the field of technology, that's just not going to work. It needs to be written within the last 5 years. And same thing would go for a website. And usually a good website will tell you when it was last updated. Also, the links on the site, are they related to the topic or are they ads? Are they current or are they dead? If you click on them, do they just go nowhere? What kinds of sources are linked? And are the links evaluated and annotated in any way? The quality of web pages linked to the original web page may vary, so you got to really look at each one individually. And I got this from Evaluating Internet Resources from the Georgetown University Library. So if you want to know more about that, you can check out this link.